Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, and today I bring to you a message. Say no to hill humping. I'd really like you to take note of what I'm doing in today's footage. Notice the absolute variation in map position, kill distance, attack style, etc, etc. It's mobile, it's versatile, it's exciting, and it's fun. And you can do it too if you aren't already, if you start to develop the required playstyle and habits. I'm here to give you guidance on just how to do that. But let's rewind. What if you don't know what hill humping is? Well, if you don't, and you clearly don't watch Modest Pelican, which is weird, start watching Modest Pelican. Link is in the description. Say hello from me. But anyway, hill humping is the practice of lying down for no good reason, without being beneficial to your team, simply to try to pick up a cheap and often useless kill here and there over extended amounts of time. And before anyone pops a blood vessel and makes an angry drunken rant video about me, because yes, that's actually happened recently, genuinely, let me clarify what I mean. I'm not saying that going prone is a bad thing. In fact, this very video will close out with footage of me lying prone to defend the end objective of a front lines match. That's a good example of using the tactic. And I'm also not saying that bipod usage is bad. Use it. It's there to be taken advantage of, so do so when the occasion calls for it. Plus, I'm not bashing your playstyle if you choose to be said hill humper. I get it. Some people are new to the game, some people aren't very good at the game, and some people just want to lie there and chill. Please note that I'm not saying that hill humping is tactically selecting a place on the map with an MMG and moving around accordingly with your team. That's a different thing, and I respect that. But what I am doing is strongly imploring you and everybody to resist those urges to hill hump from now on. The next time you're tempted to hump that hill good and proper, stop and reconsider. Is it the right thing to do? Can you achieve more? Did you get the hill's consent? And other such important questions. Yes, even with an LMG, it's possible to fight against those deadly semi-autos, those pesky distant snipers, and those rushing SMGs and automatic assault weapon users. Hell, it's even possible with the aforementioned MMGs, although a damn sight more tricky. If you focus upon expanding your skill set and adding to tactical prone and bipod work, you'll come out the other side as a much more capable player. And as you can see in the footage, I'm backing up my words. This video has opened with a few clips from a couple of quick games, just to show that I'm not using a one-off gameplay as my sole evidence. And the rest of the video is comprised of an edited game of Frontlines on Hamada, in which I dropped 84 kills and 22 deaths. It's by no means a top game for me, it's not 100 plus, that's quite a few deaths, and it's nothing super outstanding, although it is obviously very solid and something that I know a lot of players would love to achieve. What it is though, from my perspective, is me messing around with my friends, having a good time, and showing that you can be aggressive and objective focused whilst pulling out a solid end result, regardless of your weapon, even if the weapon is one that many rely upon in order to just use a bipod rather than go and actually challenge enemies and be hyper mobile. And yes, I did say edited footage. I always get the, oh, a lot of those are just edited single kills so they don't count, for reasons that nobody can seemingly explain to me afterwards. Look, if I didn't edit it down, the video would be mega long. We've already been talking for a while at this point. I mean, I'd make more money, but you'd be bored. So you can leave your thank yous in the comment section below. Oh, and finally, before I hit you up with my tips, this video is even more relevant when you consider that the overall bipod nerf is in place now after the patch. So now is the time to add skills to your playbook if you're overly reliant upon bipod play. It'll still work, it will still be viable, but it won't be as good. So make up for that by bettering yourself. So anyway, how do you break out of just hill humping? Well, let's start off with a simple change and go from there. Notice how even when I'm not being mobile in the footage and I'm occupying a power position, I'm often laying fire on the objective, defending an objective, or cutting off a commonly used route. Basically, I'm ensuring that I'm being useful. If you don't feel comfortable being aggressive and really working your gun skill straight away, then you can still improve by just altering your positioning and your mindset. Sure, lying at the very edge of the map might net you a couple of kills, but where were those kills? How valuable were they? Could you have pushed up? Could you have done more by taking up a position closer to the objective or facing the enemy spawn? Be conscious of how you could be doing more purely by putting yourself somewhere else on the map. It sounds like a small thing, but it can have a huge impact. Once it becomes a habit, you'll be racking up more kills and being more useful as a teammate on a regular basis. And you can of course supplement this change in Outlook before you even start the match. Get out of the habit of just repeatedly hitting continue until you get into the match. Think about what weapon works best for you for the map you're about to play. Will you do better with close range capabilities, with long range capabilities, with flexibility and versatility, with lots of ammo, with hard hitting single shot damage? Whatever it may be, engage your brain and pick a suitable option. Throw on useful specializations as well. For example, I know I rely extremely heavily upon being able to aim in quickly and feel like my weapon is responsive, so I use quick aim whenever possible. I've thought in depth about what works best for me on each weapon. Make sure you do the same and experiment if you aren't sure. If you want a bit of a hint as to some general rules that I think will work for a lot of players based on how Battlefield 5 is designed, although obviously not for everyone, then I typically recommend weapons that can contest at mid to long range and utilize a medium range scope if you're just not sure of what to use on a certain map or game mode. Because Battlefield 5 has big maps with wide open spaces, you're going to have a lot of mid-range engagements. The scope allows you to check areas and also acquire distant targets, but isn't so zoomed in that it nullifies close quarters aiming. Obviously this won't work for everyone, but give it a try and see if it works for you. And the Lewis gun is a good example of a lot of what I've talked about. Plus it's what I'm using in today's footage. It's pretty steady, can utilize a lot of rounds, and can still slay at close quarters, albeit you will need to often have the upper hand on the enemy player at close range or just be better than them. But don't be scared to challenge. You improve by learning and you learn by doing. You think I haven't lost gunfights before? Of course I have, and still do. In a decent amount of my matches, I might lose an even gunfight here and there. Michael Jordan missed more than 9,000 shots in his professional career, and yet he's seen by many as the greatest basketball player of all time. My point is, you need to get in there, take your failures and come out better. Failure leads to success later on, and even when you're at a disadvantage, you can still win the gunfight. In some of the fights you've seen and will see in this video, I shouldn't be winning it if the enemy is of equal skill, but I do, because I'm prepared or I react faster. So get yourself used to being ready for a fight as often as possible. Be ready to react, and you can develop this further by keeping in mind where people usually tend to come from, where they attack from, where they camp, etc. Where are the commonly taken paths? The areas where you often see people transitioning from one point to another. What are the commonly used sightlines? Once you know them, you can combat them. Take a different route, use a different sightline, and catch the enemy unaware. A lot of this is about mindset, so start developing the right mindset. This obviously includes flanking. You should flank a lot, from different places and angles. Don't let the enemy get used to the flow of battle, and don't let them easily have the upper hand by simply running at where they're already looking. Get around the side, get around the back, drop in from above. Whatever it is, be smart and give yourself that upper hand. I should probably also mention recoil control and things of that nature. If you aren't used to being a very aggressive player, it may not feel natural to you to snap your aim to your target, or to be able to turn on people, or be able to keep your sights on the enemy for the entirety of a gunfight and other such things. This will come with time. If you screw up your recoil control, your drag shot, or whatever it may be, just say, good, I messed that up and I can learn from it. Eventually you'll get it down and it will become second nature. Build up that muscle memory. And I don't want to throw too much at you in one video, so let's end this out with a final, simple to follow and extremely powerful tip. Move from cover to cover. Know where the next piece of cover is. Know how to cut off a dangerous sightline. Know how to use the environment to your advantage. If you're near cover, you're far more likely to consistently succeed than someone who is consistently out in the open. Move from cover to cover and use it to your advantage. You can see me doing that a lot in the footage. And that's what I have for you today, to help to rid you of any hill humping ways. Instead, use bipods and going prone when the situation calls for it, and add additional value to your place on the team by becoming a versatile player for the rest of the game. Let me know your feedback regarding hill humping, the tips given, and how you like to play in the comments below. I'll let the rest of the footage play out now with some background music so you can focus on what I'm doing or just enjoy it. If you don't feel like doing that, then that's okay. Thanks for spending a few minutes here with me today, and I hope it helped. Feel free to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join my Discord server in the description and my pinned comment. I'll also throw up the board of awesome at the end of the video for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes, and I love them all deeply and often. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.